Hello everyone and welcome back to PianoSecrets. In this video I will be teaching you how to play Chopin's Opus 9 No. 2 in E flat major. The first thing that we should know is the scale and the chords that he's going to be using. So the E flat major scale is like this. And if you have to find the E flat major chord, it will be E flat, G and B flat. Now if we do the first inversion of the chord, we'll have to flip the E and put it on the top, and we'll have this, the first inversion. And if we flip it again, we'll have this, and that will be the second inversion. And that's how he's gonna come up with this melody, which is start using these notes. Okay, so we got the first melody with just the second inversion of the chord. Let's play it one last time. Now let's add, if we play this with the right hand, that means we could also have a background that is based on that, and he brings the same inversions to the left hand, and that's the same thing. So let's say we have this, we could split it in this way like he did it. So the G and the E flat, and then the B flat, E flat by itself. So pretty much to this he adds a bass, so he does the bass and up, and grabs the same notes from the first chord that we mentioned. If you have trouble, you could split it at the beginning and then split it here also. All together will be like this. It's important that you grab the first note with the pedal, so it allows you to jump up. And when you go and jump up, this is down and that's up, and the movement of the hand. Now if we put it together, we have the B flat with the G and together with the E flat. And we got the first part. Now we have to solve the F going to the E flat. The F, I could say from the scale, if you have the inversion like this, the F will add tension to that progression. So that's the very simple principle that the F is doing, and then resolve it back to E flat. Now the left hand, it remains the same for that part. That's an E flat, but then we have some different notes. A flat D, B flat D and A flat, and that's it. Then we're gonna go back to E flat. So we have this sequence. And if you wonder where is it coming from, where it comes from, the seventh chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have a diminished chord on the 7th degrees of the scale, so he brings the A flat and D, these two notes, over here, and then he adds an A flat again, a D and a B. B is the extension of that chord, so we could play that and then here, and notice that this creates tension when you play, once you play it. Okay, and resolve back to the E flat major chord we did at the beginning. And there we have the first measure. So let's play the left hand by itself one time. Back, and then it's gonna do a passing tone to D, but it keeps the top chords the same until we'll get to C. Right hand, let me remind you what it was. Okay, let's do it together now. So B flat by itself, together, 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 and together with the bass. And then the next melody is going to come up with the B flat. So keep in mind what I mentioned. Think that is the second inversion of the chord all this melody based on that, and also the Lefian based on that, with a little change to the 7th chord here and then back. So other than that, it doesn't create any major problems. Now let's analyze a little bit the second melody. Now if we go a little bit forward and we'll play what's next, we have this. And from the start, from the melody that we are playing, there are two main chords that are aligned there. When you play B flat G and the C, which is the one that we stay the longest, that is a C7 chord. That is the chord that also we're gonna bring to the left hand. So when you do all this melody, think a little bit on this chord flipped. All C's, then you have the C7 again, and then to A flat, which is part of the F minor. So there are line two chords, the C7 and the F minor, which is flipped. Okay, so F minor is like this and is flip all the way up. Let's play it the way it goes now. I just wanted you to be aware of that first. So tension again, release to the F minor chord. Now what we're gonna do is bring those chords, I mentioned the C7, and what it's gonna do on the left hand is the same chords in this position. So he's gonna take the G and the E, the B flat, E and G, and he split it the same way we did it with the others. And that's why we have a C on the bass. Okay, it's important you think it as a C7, and the next one goes a little higher. That's the same, and flip the B flat, put it on the top. C7 again. So we could solve that two of the patterns with thinking on that. Now if we put those two progressions there with the melody, we could have this. Ornament, and then here's gonna change. We have again left hand, this C7 still. Now we're gonna go to F, and it has a B diminished in it. Okay, and we're solving to F minor. F minor, remember that came from the right hand. Now let's try to do it at the same time. So if we have B flat, now we're going to F minor there, and we have covered two lines, two measures. So we have the C7 chord going to F minor. It's true that it has a diminished chord passing through it, this chord, and then the F minor. And after this, we're gonna continue. So let's play those two measures first, and then we'll continue with the next section. So we have this so far. Now we're changing a little bit, and as you can see, the last two notes I played was B flat and F, and that gives me a chord which will be a B flat major first, but also with an A flat. That would be a B flat 7. This note is going to be filled up by a B flat 7 chord, and if we flip the notes from a B flat 7 chord, we have B flat, F and D, and then B flat, D, A flat. So that's why he splits them like this. And we have that ready to go. So we play F, and that's it. Next one we have a G, and this G triggers the G7, this chord. But in this case, he will arrange the B below, G and F below here, and the two notes D, F, G on the left hand. So we have this on the left hand. Okay, and that fills up with the G and D. Notice that they are all no pertainance to the G7. Okay, so if I play from B flat, we have this B flat 7 to G7 to C minor now. There you have it. And just remember the C minor is part of the E flat major scale. It just plays it in here. I'll move it around. So we have this melody, C minor notes there. Now we're gonna go to an A diminished. You have the diminished chord. You could also call it, I prefer to call it A diminished because the bass is on the, it's telling me A, but it's the same as this. So to create tension again, so we have the B flat 7, G7, release the C minor, diminish now, and then we're gonna have a little melody there. So now let's play up to that point and see what everything sounds like. So we start in B flat. We increase the tension to a diminished chord. Movement on the bass to D. We go to C7 now. Ornament. Tension here. Diminished chord. Go to F minor. B flat 7. G7, C minor, diminish. And now we're gonna do this little section which increases the tension as you go up on the melody. Now we have one chord, we play this. And notice that all the notes we play pretty much they follow the same scale, the E flat major scale. Now we have this chord now, which it looks like an F, but it's really a sus chord with the B flat in here. So we have this, then we have the B flat 7. Notice that it's split. This is the main chord, and back to E flat. So if we play it with the right hand, we have that. If we play it together, we match each note. And then we go back again to E flat. Now it's important that you work very hard on the left hand on this section, which is the first section, because it's going to repeat itself all the time. The only thing it's going to have is little changes on the right hand, but this chord progression will come over and over, maybe 3-4 times. And I think most students get discouraged getting those chords first. But if you pass this, and you could do this, then you could do all the others because they repeat with a little change in it. Okay? So right hand melody and the left hand, you could also practice by itself a little bit. So you can practice this. And notice that you land on this chord, you land. Always land on that. Land here. Land. Land again. cycle again. So all this next part I'm gonna play is gonna repeat just that with little variation, maybe improvisations on the right hand, but keeping those the same. So I play them by themselves so you could practice them over and over until you get them, and then you are ready to go and put it together with both hands. It's very important that you keep in mind the scale, and keep in mind that the melody follows those notes. Now you might say, why is it that you do this D flat? It's just passing, so I'm not landing on it. I'm landing on C and C again. So it's okay to do that. So all throughout, always do the E flat major scale, and also the chords that come from it. So you could analyze each chord from the scale to get a sense of it, of what you're doing on the left hand and the melody combined. It's obvious to me that he knew these chords, E flat major. Now if we go one step up, you have F minor. We did use it on the piece. Then we have G minor, A flat, he's gonna use that a lot. B flat, we use that too. C minor, we use that. D diminished and E flat. So that you could do it also within this tutorial. You could practice it like this. Okay, let's continue now, and the second part is going to be the same on the left hand. So let me play a little bit for you. So we have this. So pretty much the left hand is the same. So if you did a good work on the first part of the video, then this part will be much easier, because it's just doing the matching of the notes and the changes of the melody. The first melody we did this. Now he's gonna kind of embellish it a little bit more, and it's gonna do the same thing. Notice that we're using the same notes, we're just adding an E to it and a turn. So we do. And that's all we have. We're still using the same inversion from before. So it's very clear to me that he wanted to change a little bit, but keep the same sequence in his mind while he was doing this and creating this. The chords are the same, so we have E flat, the only thing is now, instead of going to the D all the way down, we are keeping it close together, but that's the only change. Now let me show you how he matches it. So we come from before E flat, match here. Together the first F, together the F with the A flat D. F again, F again. So pretty much every F matched the left hand. Okay, so if I play this more quickly, And there is good reason to match the F each time, because on the top when we play this, F and F again, so it also was matching there. Now let's go to the next melody, and pretty much the same. Here we did, okay, all we did on the other one was E flat and then coming back. Now he embellished it too a little bit more, so F, E flat, F. Okay, and notice that all of this following the same scale, all of these notes. Okay, and we're gonna add the D and still E flat. That's it. One last time. E flat matches the first one, and E flat again matches. After we have that, now we're gonna use a C7 like before, same chords, right? But instead he's gonna change a little bit the scale, and he's gonna do this. And it's easy to understand this line if you think on a C7 chord, the dominant 7, because he just bends each one. It's almost like if I added a note, let's say the C7 is outlined and resolved to an F minor chord. Okay, so simple to memorize. So we add the one below, one above, one above, one above, above, B flat, and A flat. That's why he was a genius, because of the way he combined the sounds. And many times we say, what do I do with a C7 chord? Well, this is how much he did, and it sounds wonderful. So that's just to make you notice what he's doing, but really we should eventually think just on the melody and the slur that he puts on. And you could say anytime, the time you want, speed up or slow down, or crescendo, up to you. Now, if I take those notes that he does to embellish it, I will end up with just this. But he embellished it so well with those notes in between with an accent, which creates a wonderful contrast. Now left hand, I'm not going to explain it, because if you did the first part, you have a C7 and it was like this, and then we have the F minor chord here, and that's it. So to put it together, we'll start with the G, and that's all we have. Okay, we'll take a look at that now. The next part, we'll play first the right hand. So we have the trills. And these lines repeat again from the part before. So left hand, the B flat 7 that we played before, the G7, same one, C minor from the scale, A diminish, and then we go to B. Right hand we have the G, Trill, it's important that when you do the trill, try to rotate the hand. The second G a little bit louder there, get to E flat and C. So when you do this, You run the trill, march each one, march again, together, and then we have the same line from before. The only thing, it has an A here as an ornament, and that's all we have. So the difference between the two is, at the beginning we started fairly simple. Now from all of that he added this. Now we go back to the same melody. Let's continue and go to the third part. We have here when we end. Now D, E flat. Okay. Now the third part is also going to repeat 2 times later on with different notes, little variations, not too much. And pretty much when we do this, when we get to F, it's going to trigger in your mind's eye, it's going to trigger a B flat chord. And if we do the inversions all the way down, we have this, that chord 2 times. You can see the B flat major chord and the inversions there. So if we do that, we're going to G, F, and then F major. So right hand melody. This F triggered the E flat, the B flat major chord to an F major chord. And if we do it the way he wrote it, we have B flat to F major, and that's it. So let's put it together very slowly to a G, to an F, to C. Okay, that's all we have. The last one was like this. Next melody, we have 3 E's. And those 3 E's, he's gonna put also an A flat chord. A flat chord is like this, but he's gonna split it, so he's gonna do this instead. And he's gonna play a low bass, A flat. And that's it. Next chord will be A flat minor, so he moves this to here. And then back to E flat like we did before. So this will match, so march, 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 march. That's it. And just keep in mind that if you do this section, it will come up again. When it comes up again, I'm going to play as quick as possible so you can see it. Let's continue now. Then he's going to go to this melody. And then arpeggio. Now what we're gonna do is the B flat, we're gonna put an E diminished, and E diminished is like this, but I want you to think that he opened it, so that's why he's gonna do this one instead, but it's the same notes. So he's gonna do E, then he's gonna do C7 to F7, to G minor. C minor, F7, B flat, B7, E major, C7, F7, B flat 7, and then back to the E flat. I understand that maybe this progression was a little bit more difficult. The E diminished at the beginning when we do this. It's like this. He just brings this G here, and he releases 2 of the middle notes. So he does this then. The C7, instead of this, he does the E on the bass, and then he splits E and C, and the B flat, C and G. F7 the same. F7 is like this. He played F on the bass, and then split that, and open up here. G minor is this, and he does this. So it's a little bit more complicated progression. C minor, F7, flip that, then we have B flat, 1 by 1 all the time, B7, E major, he puts the G on the bass, C7, same chord with the G on the bass, that will be an F7 again, and B flat 7 to E flat. So all together will be you could slow down if you like. It's totally up to you. So those are, we cover the third part, and those chords are going to repeat all the time. So with this you have most of the song down. Now the next section, there's only a little difference, and then it's the same thing. It's 2 little things. So first is the arpeggio and this melody. Is the same thing as the second section after that. So notice here again, creating tension from the diminished chord that we're playing on the left hand. Notice that he lands on B, on D, and then on F to resolve to E. To do it together is every other note dotted, and then you repeat the same thing we did already. All of this. Same thing. Trill from the first part. But here it's gonna change. And resolving. So it's important that we work out a little bit that. So we have a B flat, a D, a C sharp, chromatic scale to A flat. Then we have this diminished inside, second finger. And those little parts, it could be done by using rhythms to practice it, or the opposite. It's important you keep the hand relaxed. And then by groups, like he did it, from C to A flat, to B, to E flat. All together will be this. Okay, so we have this rhythm. Chromatic scale now. So we go from A to D. And then we release here. So we have that's all we have. The chords are the same from before. And we go back to the same chords again. And we already covered and repeated several parts with little variations. Now what we're gonna do is the ending. Now he goes back to the same principle now, and he's gonna play his notes. Okay, for the first E flat, he's gonna use an A flat minor chord, and if we start the bass, we could do the bass like this, inversion, 2 times that, and then they are released to E flat major. If we put it together, we put together the first 2 notes by itself, together, 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 and together. And we have the whole line there. Now the next part is gonna use the same E flat and the same notes pretty much, but it's gonna add a little bit extra notes. So we have this now. So pretty much it's an E flat, and each E will match it with the chord. So okay, and when we punch this one, so let me do the right hand here. Let's do it again. Now, if we add the chords to it, so let's say we come from E flat, same chord, together, and together. Okay, so let's try to break that down a little bit. So for the chord part, we have the E flat, same with a higher note. Now we have B flat 7. That's the chord we was playing before. And back to E flat, that's it. And then F7, B flat sus, B flat, back to E flat again, always cycling around. Now when we do it together, let's think a little bit on the melody. So let's put it together there. Together, each one by one. We got the part, then we have this. So when we get to B flat, together, 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 each note. Now here, together, every other note, together, and then every other note again. Okay, and we get to almost the end of it. Now here's gonna be 8 notes again, 3, and I do it kind of the way I feel more natural, like that. But I could say that if I do it slowly, left, somewhere in between I put again the left hand and then go for it. Some people wanna have a general idea and they match, play 2 or 3 notes, play 2 or 3 notes, and then go for it. I think it's a little bit difficult to do it very slow. You could try that and then go for it naturally and see what comes out. Okay? Now let's get to the ending part. Now it's important here that you think a little bit on the notes. All the way there. A flat, ornament. Okay, and left hand with this. Back to E flat. Okay, let's put it together very slow. So octave by octave. Now here we're gonna have groups of 4 notes that you could start it slowly, and as you go speed it up. But it's important that you count them. So that means we have B, B flat, C, A. This should be done by rotating each time. So right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. That's why you could play it very quickly if you would like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You could practice this with rhythms. So we have to do 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And once you get to here, make an extension, because here it slows down. B flat is an 8th note and it's slower. You could also practice it backwards, like this, and always make sure you do 12 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you could do it every 4. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now here. And then slow down. Now when you do it all together, remember that you're coming from a slow section. You start slow here, gradually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we get to E flat. E flat up here, and also E flat here. I hope this video was helpful, and if you enjoyed, subscribe. Thank you very much.